you guys don't have to wait around longer than you'd want to. But happy Wednesday to you. Good morning. 4 things I want to go over with you today. One is going to be the review of Edmentum, which was the big thing from last week. This week we'll start with curriculum, as I said. So first thing, the district bought digital textbooks, digital notebooks for you. So I'm going to show you how to log into that and utilize that. And then we're going to talk about scarcity, opportunity cost, touch a little bit on factors of production, and then introduce economic systems is what we'll focus on next week. We'll give you your assignment and you'll be done and rid of me, at least for another week. So last week, our big thing was getting to Edmentum and being able to utilize that. So if you take a look at your Canvas page, as we've said, there are 2 ways to get to most of these things here. Edmentum, and the link is located here. We also have that same link available on the school's website if you want. Once you click on that, that Edmentum login is the same as your school email and password. And so when you get to there, you should see CP Economics period 1 is what you guys would do. And then we had you take a look at the Plato orientation, just in case you've never used this format before in this platform. We had you download or take a screenshot of this, so the save icon or the download. I recommended that when you are downloading anything that you use a consistent folder or location for that so that you can upload that to your Canvas assignment. Now, the big thing for most of you is there was an issue that was at the district level that was not your fault. So that individual, the last assignment, the individual logins assignment was originally scheduled to close at August 24th. It's now open until Friday. There were a few people through no fault of their own that weren't able to submit that, so I made that change. If you click on this, it's still open now. And so you can submit that even though the original due date was the 24th. I pushed that back to Friday. So this was the assignment basically that we had you do. We wanted you to take a look at these videos, get oriented in that platform. When you submit your file, you're going to choose file, go to where you save that, and then hit submit file, and you're done. So I think there were 6 or 7 of you that had yet to submit that. So you can still do that now and still receive full credit. That'll be open until the 28th at 3:15. Any questions on that portion there? Okay, so go ahead and open your Canvas page. I'm going to get you access to your digital textbook and digital notebook, and then we'll start with the week's curriculum, looking at opportunity cost based on scarcity, factors of production, and how that decides or helps to decide economic systems. So go ahead and open your Canvas page. Still no Kennedy Mason, right? Isabel Padilla. Isaiah. Still no Kayla. Yasmin. Kirsten. Okay. All right, so from your Canvas page, one thing that I wanted to go over with you just in terms of procedure and format. Remember that learning modules you have on the left-hand side, and then I made a shortcut right here. But as I told you the very first week of school, I reminded you last week, I'm going to put these modules into weeks. So you don't have to guess where the notes are at. You don't have to guess where any presentations might be. You don't have to guess where any of the assignments might be. Remember that this due date here, okay, was switched to the 28th. So you have until Friday to do that. All right, you have until Friday to do that if you hadn't done that. Grades are going to be uploaded and updated every Friday. So if you looked in Canvas or you looked in Aries, since Friday afternoon, you can see that your grades were updated. This was week 1. Everything you needed to do in week 1 is located in one spot in the module. Everything that you're going to need to do for week 2 is located in this module. So scarcity and opportunity cost. We're going to go over what is economics. We're going to go over your digital textbook and notebook. We're going to talk about scarcity opportunity costs and how they're related. I'll show you a quick example of some present day scarcity opportunity cost factors of production in terms of creating economic decisions. Introduce you to economic systems, and then you'll have an assignment that you can do with the remaining class time, and then an introduction to economic systems will be what you do before we meet next Wednesday. All right, next Wednesday. So if you go into week 2's module, you can see here what we have for you. If you click on next, that's where you'll get into TCCI. What you need to do is click on this link. This link will take you to your digital textbook and notebook sign up. As with what I did with Edmentum last week, I'll go through this entire process for you. Then we'll come back and do it step by step, and then I can check and make sure that you're getting in correctly. So basically, TCI is going to be a location where you're going to have your digital textbook and keep a digital notebook, and you'll have resources available to you. That web address or link address is going to take you to create a student account. You're going to use my teacher email, and I'm going to send that to you. That's how it looks up the class. Use your real first name, real last name. Use your school email address as the username. I would use your password as the password to get in. The only thing anybody can do for you is work anyway, so it's not as if it's taken back, it would be. And then you should get a box that looks like this or this. So you're going to have Econ period 1, Econ period 2, Econ period 3, the 2 world history sections that I have, and you'll want to select period 1 since you're in period 1. So you're going to click that address. You're going to click that address, and I'm going to send you in the chat room the email that you need to use for that. It'll also be up on the screen, and then you can start your process with signing up. So let me get that in the chat room. So everybody should be able to see this. All right. And then click on that link and let me know if there's something that you cannot see. All right, so from that link, that's my school email address. I put that in the chat. Use your real first name, real last name. Here is an example of a school email address, and then I would use the same password that you used for your tablet and your school email address. And then once you click create account, you want to select economics period 1 from that box that's going to come up. And I can check and see as you get in. questions, you can throw them in the chat room or you can just ask. They're asking for your last name first on that. Caesar, you reversed yours, but I changed it. It's not going to matter in terms of your sign up. Julio, Daniela, you're incorrect. Your username should be your school email address. So your 6-digit at students-smjuhsd.org. So again, if you go to modules, week 2, presentation for TCI, when you click on this link, it's going to bring you to this page. Use my teacher email so that you can find the class that you need to get in. You're going to put your real last name first, real first name last. Username will be your school email address, and then I would use the same password. As I said, only thing that anybody could do would be to get in and do work for you anyway. So doubling up on your school email is not going to be, and password is not going to be a problem. Okay, Armando, looks like you're in right. Alex, you're in right. Erwin, you're in right. Jacob's in right. Guadalupe's in right. Braden's in right. We need 2 more to get in. Just waiting on 2 more. Aldair's in right. Armando's in right. Delia and Timothy, we need to add to your username the end of the school email address. So I'm going to do that for you. Your password's still going to be the same. I didn't change that. Tim, I'm going to add the end of the email address to your username. You guys will both have to use that when you log in the next time. Matt, are you able to get in okay? Okay, so I think that is everybody. So from that, here's a couple of things. All right, so one of the things here, I want to make sure that we see. So your username, and I'm gonna put this in the chat, your username has to be your full email address. So it's going to be your 6 digits. I'll do it this way. It's got to say at students-smjuhsd.org. All right. If you didn't create your account that way, I changed it and saved it. I didn't mess with your password. So a couple of you forgot the full email address, and I changed that for you to your username. So next time you log in, you'll have to make sure that it's that way. Any questions on that? Everybody good? Okay, so next thing, we'll go ahead and start with what we've been looking at in terms of our curriculum. So if you go down here and go next, in every one of the modules, if you click next, it'll just give you a list again of what we're going to do or what you need to do. All right. So here, these notes are going to be available to you in Canvas. We're going to talk about basically what economics is, why we have to study economics, what's the point of studying economics, and then we'll talk about how goods and services are made and how different countries answer those services. So in your modules, again, as I've said, I put everything that you need to do in a week into that module. And so if you just start at the beginning and go next, as you go all the way through, you'll get all of your assignments, all of the information that you need. So I tried to keep that as simple as possible in a step-by-step process, since we are not in person. So we're going to talk about what is economics, talk about the 2 different types of domains that we have here in the United States. We'll talk about this idea of scarcity and opportunity cost and why those are tied together. I'll show you a short 4-minute video clip, introduce this idea about economic systems, why we have different economic systems throughout the world, and then I'll show you what you need to finish, and we will be done for the week. So if you want to follow along in your Canvas, these are here. Let me go ahead and open up the notes for you so you can see. Okay. So a couple of things here. in terms of what we are looking at. Economics is going to be the study of how people use limited resources to satisfy their wants. And one of the things that you want to understand, even though it's on an abstract basis, generally there's two types of economics. There's macroeconomics, which would be a whole economy, right? The economy of Santa Barbara County, the economy of California, the economy even of the United States. There would be microeconomics, which is the study of specific industries within a whole economy. So you could talk about the steel industry within the economy of Pennsylvania. You could talk about the auto industry in the study of, say, the economy of Michigan or even Detroit, Michigan. The richest people in the world, right? Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, any of your oil producing people in the Middle East all have a limit to their resources. So even though they may be worth $1 billion or $2 billion, we could count every single penny that they have at one particular time. And there could be things that are just out of reach, right? An economist is a person who studies these behaviors and these decisions, right? So we'll study energy, inflation, interest rates, imports, healthcare, how all of those things work out. What you need to understand is that there are two types of economic businesses or structures in this country. And for the most part, right, it's very easy to keep them separate. When we talk about private and public, okay, private is generally for money, right? Private is generally for money. Public would be something that's provided as a service for people. So the fact that you are in school, you are supposed to be getting an education. The state of California, the United States federal government, doesn't provide K through 12 education for a profit. They provide it for the good of society. Private businesses, Chick-fil-A, Target, Amazon, Goodyear Tires, whatever business you're talking about, is in business to make money, to make a profit. And so when we talk about the United States, you want to understand there's two separate parts. Schools still provide a service. They still provide goods, but it's not for a profit. So the way that we would evaluate a business or a government program like this is going to be different than we would with other things that are there. So what I want you to do, and I'm going to break you up into some breakout rooms. We've got about 15 or 16 with us today. What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you come up with the last 5 things that you've purchased as a group. It could be 5 things that you wanted to buy but haven't bought if you don't remember. 5 things that you would buy if you could. So 5 things that you have bought or would buy if you had the money, and then come up with a price for each one of those things. Obviously, as long as it's school appropriate, we'll be okay. All right. And so you'll have about 3 minutes. Make sure that you click join on that. Okay, you got about a minute left. Okay, so I think the last one is back. And it does not matter. Anyone from any of the 5 groups, give me one item that you guys talked about buying or would buy and what the value of that item was. Doesn't matter which group. All right, we'll do it this way then. Then each group's going to give one. Group 1, give me one of your items and the cost.
How do you know which group you were in?
Well, just give me one of your items. I have the group picture, but give me one of your items and the cost, Caesar.
So we picked we all got notebooks
Okay.
from the Dollar Tree. So like depends on how much notebooks we got. So we decided only to get 2, so $2.
Okay.
$2.10.
Perfect. So a tax, that's $2.16 probably.
Yeah.
Awesome. Haven, what did your group come up with?
Yeah, I was in his group.
Oh, look at that. Erwin, what did your group come up with?
I came out with some shoes.
Shoes. Okay, how much?
$60.
60
Some
bucks.
Vans.
There you go. You gotta love that. All right, so 2 items. We can go with 2 items. So a couple of things from that. All right, and wanted to go over this with you. So when you make a decision, whether it's to buy notebooks for class, this class, other class, whether it's to buy shoes, right? Maybe a hoodie, whatever it might be, you make those decisions based on what your needs are and what your resources might be. And this gets us into our first concept, which is scarcity. Scarcity is the most important economic problem because even the richest people in the world, as I said, have a limit to how much money they have. They couldn't buy everything in the world because there would be a limit to their spending. Scarcity is the idea that we have limited products, limited services, limited energy, limited resources, limited money, most importantly for you, probably limited time. All of you made a decision to come to school today, right? You could have slept in, you could have gone to the beach. Because you have limited time, because you can't be in more than one place at one time, you had to make an economic decision. If resources, time, money were not scarce, right, you would not have to make decisions. You wouldn't need to reuse anything. You wouldn't need to prioritize your time. Generally, people want more than they can afford. So, for example, prom, homecoming, winter formal, whatever, most people will buy or rent a dress, buy or rent a tux. Where are they going to go to dinner? How are they going to get there? They're going to rent a limo or no? They're going to carpool with others. pool their money together. It's all because we have limited resources that we need to make these decisions. Now, those of you, as Caesar said, if you went to the Dollar Tree, right, most kids go there, at least the younger kids, to go buy candy. So if you spend your $2.16 on notebooks, you do not have $2.16 to spend on candy. If you spend $60 on shoes, you may not have $60 to go out to the movie or go out to dinner. The things that you could have bought with the money that you spent on those items is your opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is going to be the things that you gave up. So when we talk about opportunity cost, you can see that new slide there. Opportunity cost is going to be the most beneficial, right, or the most valuable item that you gave up in your decision. So because of scarcity, because we have limited resources, time, money, we have to make trade-offs. We make decisions about money and time in order to have what we want. When we decide on what we want, we have in turn made a decision to give up something else. The example that I use for you today, right, is you decided to come to class, right? We've got 5 or 6 people that decided not to come, or maybe can't log on, right? We don't know what the situation was. But when you decide to come to school, you're hopeful that you get a valuable education. Instead of coming to school, you could have gone to work and make money. Instead of coming to school, you could have gone to the beach, played, relaxed, what have you. If your choice is coming to school, opportunity cost is going to be the most important sacrifice, right, that you gave up, right? The most important sacrifice that you gave up. Any questions on that? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you real quick is going to be a short video clip about scarcity, opportunity cost, and then some of the factors of production and what that means for you. You'll want to turn your volume up a little bit on your tablet, your computer, wherever you're at. The sound should be decent, depending. And I'll bring that up. If you have trouble with the video, it's in, and I'll show you here. It's in your Canvas area. So here are the notes, right? If you click on next, the video is going to be the next thing in line. So remember, your modules just go right down everything that we have. So we're going to be right here in terms of what we're looking at. As I said, I'll share this on your screen and you should be able to hear the audio okay. And I'll put up the closed captioning just in case.
Hey, Mr. Grok.
Yes.
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, my thing doesn't let me see the things. I don't know why. So I'm
The
gonna share
what?
my screen with you. I can't see nothing of the week 2. It says that it hasn't been unlocked yet.
Okay. I'll check in just a second as soon as it's done.
Okay. Sounds good.
Now, another resource that you will often talk about. Okay, so a couple of things here. Let me double check and make sure. Go back to my modules. Student view. Okay, so these modules are showing open. So Ern, I'm going to unpublish and then publish again. Log all the way out. And then
All right, sounds good.
log back in and should be open.
All right.
See what that has. See what that says at least. Now we may have to clear some things, but I think that would work. So a couple of things. We talk about goods and services, things that go into making goods and services. We're talking about choices that are made, right? So we talked a little bit and touched briefly on macroeconomics and microeconomics. Macro is the whole economy. Micro would be individuals or individual industries in an economy. The three basic questions he sort of went over. What to make, how to make it, for whom to make it, and we utilize that by the factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. So what a society needs, right? Food, clothing, shelter, education, roads, defense. How are they going to make it? They're going to make it with human or machines. And then who's going to get that, right? And how is that going to be delivered? That is basic of the 4 types of economic systems. Traditional is going to be very specific to a social norm that's acceptable, right? Things that are acceptable in America might not be acceptable in Afghanistan. A market economy is generally all of the people making the decision. A command economy is the government making the decision. A mixed economy is part people, part government deciding on those issues, all right? And so that's what we'll focus on next week. So when you go to and go through week 2, there are going to be 2 things you're going to do. Scarcity and opportunity cost, as well as a preview of economic systems. And so to complete those, you're going to need to go to Edmentum, and you're going to complete those 2 categories in Unit 1. So once you go to Edmentum, if you go to all activities or new activity, you do not have to do the introduction, okay? This introduction to economics you do not have to do. You're going to do scarcity and opportunity cost. I would recommend doing the tutorial first. Once you do the tutorial, okay, that'll have all the information there for your assessment. Then you have until next Wednesday, right, basically till we come to class, to do the economic systems and the preview of that. So do this part today with the rest of the time that you have in class. This part will be due before we come to class next week. And then I will stay here if any of you have any issues or problems or questions. Okay? So that's what this week is. Scarcity and opportunity cost, you'll want to finish today. And then the economic systems, you'll want to finish before next week.